Kayla Matherne, psychic artist, the Juliet Boutique Hotel, Lafayette, Louisiana, July 23.
So the first thing that I'm seeing is a woman who's standing near this window, and she's an elderly woman, white hair cut very short, and I want to say I feel this 1920s vibe going on. I could be wrong with that date. I mean, it could be 30s, early 40s. But I kind of get, and she seemed to be prominent. I'm not sure if this was an apartment at that time, and because it could have been a more permanent living space. And I see a clock, and the clock has, it's a white ivory color. It's an ivory color clock. The face is about that big, but it has a very French design to it. I get a woman who has money, so someone of wealth, and I also feel like someone of prominence in this area. I also get someone who would have maybe been in the art world or painted or known other artists. You get this kind of art vibe. I also get that she might have been like an artsy kind of person, okay? And I also get someone with like a German name that also is here. So someone with, especially the last name, that would have been more of a German sounding name. And I feel like if someone was to be in this room and they I feel like they would see her. And there's other energies and other layers that I'm getting, but she's the first one that comes to me, and she feels more prominent. And I also see like almost a overlay, like a transparent overlay over this room. But it's funny, even though I get a German last name, so I'm not sure if that's her name or someone else who's here, because I get this French feeling, like the French clock. So I get this feeling of everything very French with this room. And I also kind of would see things, and I'm not sure if this happens right now, or perhaps this happened in the past, that things would move, especially in the bathroom area, because this was all constructed, of course, totally different than this. But I kind of feel something having movement like this, and so it might be put something here, and then it's moved over there, and you wondered, did I just put it right there and it moved, 12 inches over there, that kind of thing. And I also get someone, and he's a male, and he's sitting over here, so I don't know how this was at one point. And it doesn't mean he's sitting in this room right here, it's just his energy's about, but he would have, I see stacks of paper on his desk, so like an office, or this was like an office room. And like I said, sometimes energy, it isn't exactly here, but it's somewhere in this near vicinity that I would have been sitting behind a desk. And the desk would have had like almost like a fluorescent light that was long and narrow but metal, and it would have been suspended like from two down rods on either side. And he's sitting there, and he's very involved with what he's doing. And that if someone also heard this, would have had an experience in this room, or maybe the surrounding rooms, that they would have heard that kind of click, 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 click of almost somebody with the calculator, or pushing buttons on something that would have been, like that kind of sound going on, and also the movement and the sound of a chair, like when you have a desk chair on wheels and you're rolling it back to and I kind of put my feet up, so that kind of sound too. So we're just going to stop for a moment because there's other things that I'm getting, but I kind of need to take a sip of water and just take a break for a second. Okay, so I'm in this room. This room feels much more active than the other room, and it's all towards this side of the bed and the wall. So like from here to whatever on the other side of this wall, I do feel this. I see a bunch of people, I'll put it that way, but the first person that I see coming to my mind is a tall, thin, young girl, and I say young girl, so it might be late teens or to early 20s, and she has hair, shoulder length, pulled back, straight blonde hair, and ponytail, and she seems to be like she has shorts and some kind of sandals or something, and she's putting them on sort of like this, and she's talking and she's running a mile a minute. I feel that this girl, I wouldn't know why her spirit is here, except that there is some kind of, I feel like she's passed on, so this isn't like energy that's stuck here, even if they're still living, if something happens repetitively enough, but it's just, she feels like she might have come to some tragic end, or there might have been an accident, and somehow the two are together. So I'm not getting a clear image as to why her spirit would be here. But she just seems very young and very vibrant, but then something tragic happened. I also want to say that even before I got here, that I kept seeing toys, but toys not just regular toys. These were toys that to do with Christmas. So that was also something that I said before I got here, because I also get a 1950. So I got that earlier time period from the older woman, and now I'm getting a 50s, 60s vibe. But this young girl that I'm seeing is a much more contemporary person. Okay, so she might be 70s, 80s, 90s, who knows, but somewhere, after 1960s. So that's kind of what I'm getting. And also I'm getting like if it's Mardi Gras, festivals, that kind of thing. And that could be current because the festival is still happening today. And I'm kind of like feeling an association with that with this young girl that I see here. So she's getting out of bed and she's putting on her shoes. So I kind of feel like there was some kind of foul play, or there was some kind of tragedy or something, and she was here before it happened. Because it's just a mystery to me as to why someone that young and vibrant, that their spirit would be stuck here. Because normally I find they move on quick, so there has to be some kind of tragedy involved with that. I also get a little boy. Okay, I get a little boy, a little blonde hair, a little boy, and that's the little boy I was getting in my head while driving over here. Is that I get a little boy. And he's also contemporary, but he also could be from 70s, 60s, 50s, somewhere within that time period. And I get a whole family of people that are around this little boy. And I get people that would have maybe a history in the city, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's just that I feel this connection to Lafayette. I feel this family connection. And they might even have a popular last name in this area. So I kind of get that going on, and as though there was some kind of family business that was happening, and an association with this place, with the family business. So, but I would say that if you feel a lot of activity here, I feel the little boy running around. I feel this young girl getting out of bed. And I still hear this like ticker tape or ticking going on in the background as well. And you might even hear some music being played. It might even sound like it's like Mardi Gras passing, you know, so you might hear that kind of music too, something to do with that. And there's a overlay of a Christmas vibe as well. But this room is very energized, very charged with a lot of energy. So I think we'll end it there and we'll continue on to the stairway and the lobby. Let's see what's going on. So here we are. This is the stairway for the Juliet Hotel. And wow. So when I walk through this door, again, it's sort of like the same feeling you get in the previous bedroom that we were in. There's a lot of energy here, but it's heavy. It feels very heavy, and I'm not sure that this is because of the heat, because it's very hot. This stairway is not air conditioned, but it has this heaviness, and as though there is something of tragedy that happened here. You know, it's also, I feel more tenement, like people living here and living on the other side of this wall, like families. And I get a bit of people that were living poorly. So maybe there's a man that's standing at the top. And he's right behind me. He was right behind me earlier. I still feel him. He's kind of a big man, and he's a man of color. So there's a black man, but then I get some families around here and around him as well, and as though there's someone who worked hard. But then I get like, I want to cry, I want to run down the stairs. So something happened here. Maybe something collapsed, I'm not sure, but things weren't fixed, that kind of thing. So something led to something not structurally being sound. And I feel like the man behind me felt a lot of responsibility, and there's some anger behind that, blame and guilt. And so if you feel that when you're here, this feels active, I feel it's because of anger and guilt and a lot of emotions. And that could cause a lot of, like any other, it causes a lot of energy. And that, again, that heavy energy, that type of energy. So, yeah, I think we'll end it right there. So we're in the lobby of the Juliet Hotel here in Lafayette, Louisiana. And I was told to come in the lobby and that I might feel something in the lobby. But honestly, it's not that I don't feel anything. It's just that it feels more light and more airy. The energy has shifted here with more people coming in and out. We have sunlight coming in. So it feels like the energy has shifted. It doesn't feel heavy and like something tragic that happened like on the stairway or in the bedrooms and the hall as well. So, but here I feel like, I know this sounds strange, but I keep seeing like the Thanksgiving Day parade at Macy's. I keep feeling like big expensive department store, or like the Christmas Day parade, and there's activity on the street, and it's kind of got this 19 maybe 50s 60s vibe going on here. And I feel like I was prominent, you know, there was importance to this place, and I'm kind of turned around here in this place, so I don't know what faces where, because we came in through the parking lot in the back. So I'm assuming that that's more towards the Main Street area of the hotel. So I also feel like there is a woman, she has short gray hair, almost like in a bob, and she's got on like an ankle-length dress. And if she was living during that time of the 50s, 60s, maybe early 70s, I feel like she was older then. Like she was an old lady at that time. And I feel like she's got some kind of like prominence and importance to do with this hotel. And she's the one that I seen upstairs. The thing I keep getting here is like water damage, and also a lot of construction, like things that happen structurally here and that could have caused some sort of tragedy, and also just like left this building like it may be ruined for a little while. That's what I feel, as though it kind of it went under a lot of changes structurally. But I also feel like there was some tragedy, and kind of went through some dark days or years where this building just felt like neglected. And I also, when I'm down here in the lobby, is I feel water. So I'm not sure if a water main busted and caused a lot of damage to this building, or whether it was the roof, but I feel like there's water all down here as well. But I keep hearkening to like a happier time and a more prosperous time, and that would have been like, I feel like maybe in the 50s. That would have been nice. Okay? To say that I want to laugh, I want to giggle, but I also I feel like I'm a male, and I'm kind of short, male guy, and I'm a character. And I just, I like practical jokes. I like sneaking up behind people, like he's behind me right now. And I just, like he would imitate exactly what I'm doing, like my hand going out here with my forearm. And he's the type that wink at all the ladies, you know, do that, and just kind of flirty, but kind of in good humor too. And I get someone who might be older, so he's not young doing this. He doesn't like me saying that. So I do feel like someone who is here in spirit. So this doesn't feel like residue energy. He's here. It's very strong. And I feel glasses with the necktie. So I feel like, you know, someone who is a white collar, you know, work in an office type of person. And he's just very playful. He's very playful. He loves this whole idea of that, you know, he's here. And so if you're in this room and you might feel sensations, I want to say like somebody brushing past you, or maybe just someone kind of doing this at night, even movement behind the bed, and especially movement on this side of the bed. I know who's going to want to sleep on this side of the bed, right? You know, that it's him. It's him. But I hear a giggle and a laugh, so it's all done in good humor. And I want to say again, now he would have been here during a happier time. So we're looking at probably 60s, around that time period. And I feel like he's conveying to me, don't make me old, okay? Do not make me old. So he's very much a jokester kind of personality. So yeah, I'm curious to see when they put the equipment in here, what exactly, they're gonna capture in this room. I'm not sure exactly what he did here, but again, I get that tie and glasses, so it's definitely someone who would have done maybe some office work. But yeah, so I'm very curious to find out what type of activity they'll get in this bedroom with this guy. Yeah, and in the bathroom, oh, I know, movement. So if you think that you put something here, and then you walk back, I could have swore I put that right there, but it's a little bit over here, or you can't find things, that kind of stuff going on in that room.
Is there a reason why, like, she would do that?
It's just, this was her place.
Okay, okay.
Let's see. So, and then the next room, when John and I walked in, much more energy. So a lot more energy, just like a swoosh kind of energy that went in and around the bed. And there I started getting overlays. So what I mean by overlays is different layers of time going on more so in that room. So I was picking up on a man sitting behind a desk and doing some paperwork, and that click, 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 click. I'm not sure if it was an electric typewriter or a manual typewriter or a punch machine or something like that, something where you use your fingers, something that you would get that sound from. And also the sound of wheels going back and forth of his chair sliding back of his desk chair and him getting up and from his desk. And then there was another overlay, and this seemed more recent. So, and when I mean more recent, could be 70s, 80s, 90s, who knows. But she was a tall, thin girl with her hair pulled back in a ponytail. She had shorts on with some flip-flops. And I kept hearing in the background like Mardi Gras music or some kind of festival music going on outside the windows. I found it kind of strange that she hangs out here. So I didn't get the whole scoop on her. But I feel like she's a spirit. I felt like this wasn't residue energy. This is her. This might have been the last place she'd been before she died. I don't know about that. Yeah. And what was the other thing I got in that room, John? Do you remember?
Is that 216?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 216.
Yeah. And also,
the kids playing?
The kids playing. But the kids seemed like they were 50s, 60s, 40s, 30s, 60s, like an earlier time period than that. And especially the little boy, the little plaid shirt, cute as button. He might have been 50s, again, around that time period.
Christmas toys. In my mind, sometimes you visualize things by association. So whatever I see in my head, like the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade, walking down, like seeing like big department stores like Maison Blanche, that kind of thing. And it's Christmas and it's Thanksgiving and it's holidays. In fact, driving over here, I could see toys in my head, but they were holiday toys, like Mr. Bingle kind of things,
right,
like that going on. And, the hallway seems kind of, the hallway up here, I didn't really tune into it, but yeah, that felt like it's got some stuff going on in this hallway. When I got to the stairway, it got very heavy. Energy felt very much like drag me down kind of stuff. And there was a man standing behind me, big, tall guy, a man of color, a black man. And I felt guilt-ridden. I felt like I was partially responsible. And I felt like this building went through like a metamorphosis, but it was just like there was a lot of structural damage going on. There was flooding in the lobby. It was all of that. Something happened that he took on some responsibility for. And I also felt like there was maybe tenants. I'm not sure how all this building worked at one point, but maybe what was in the front and what was in the back was two different stories going on, or whether it was just some buildings that were near here. But I feel like this was like poor tenants. And I felt responsible for these people. And there was some kind of damage that took place. And people were also running around. So I don't know whether parts of the ceiling fell in or something structural that also happened that could have endangered people's lives as well. And I felt that towards the stairway. I'm not sure about what time period that was. And then we got down to the lobby, and it felt much more airy, much more brighter, much more lighter. I felt there I just tapped into the history of the building, and I just felt like Macy's. I felt like big department store. I also felt very wealthy, like I'm a woman and I'm very wealthy, and I run the show with her. So that was the two prominent things going on in the lobby.
Can I ask a question? Which ones do you feel are intelligent and which are residual? So where would we find some that may communicate with us tonight?
Oh, the man in the other room, right? In the 20. Yeah.
220?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
He's in there, and he's very intelligent, office worker kind of guy with a sense of humor.
Okay. And what about the girl with the flip-flops and the black man on the staircase?
She could be residual.
Okay.
Just because she was in the bed, she get out of the bed, she put her shoes on. She
Yeah.
get out of bed, she put her shoes on. I feel like she's residual.
Okay.
I feel like the older lady, who I think is around more than in one spot.
Right.
I think she might be of some intelligence.
Okay.
The black man is just overwhelmed with emotion. And it could be just his energy could start
Right.
stuff.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.